Consistency, repeatability, and coverage are the defining traits of real implementation. Consistency means the control runs the same way every time across all covered systems. Repeatability means anyone following the documented process can reproduce the outcome. And coverage means the entire in-scope environment benefits equally from the control. Together, these traits allow auditors to trust that a single sample represents overall performance. Consider access reviews. If one department performs them monthly while another does so irregularly, the control is not fully implemented. True consistency would show identical frequencies, forms, and sign-offs across every group, with dates falling inside the assessment period. Repeatability eliminates dependence on personality. Another person can step in and achieve the same result using written steps. Coverage ensures no system or data type is left outside the protective net. These three together transform control operation into predictable assurance rather than ad hoc effort. Sampling windows and population definitions give implementation its measurable boundaries. The sampling window defines the date range assessors will review, often 3 to 6 months, while the population lists all items that fall under the control, such as users, systems, or assets. Implemented controls can easily show both without confusion. If access reviews occur quarterly, the population might be all applications with sensitive data, and the evidence should show samples from the defined quarter. Submitting samples outside this period or from unrelated systems signals incomplete operation. Organizations should maintain population inventories in their evidence registers, updated whenever new assets appear. This approach keeps samples defensible and eliminates time wasted chasing improper evidence. When windows and populations are known in advance, every control feels rhythmic and traceable. It also reinforces that implementation is continuous, not performed only during audit months, but verified year-round. Evidence forms accepted and required must be authentic, detailed, and linked to real activity. HITRUST values natural output from operational systems over staged documents. Acceptable forms include screenshots showing live configuration pages, exports with visible timestamps, ticket closures with approvals, and logs showing who performed what action and when. The goal is clarity. Anyone reading the artifact should understand its source and context without extra explanation. For example, a backup test record should display start and end times, system identifiers, and success results directly from the management console. Evidence loses strength when recreated in spreadsheets or slides. Implemented controls produce evidence automatically as part of their workflow, not as a separate effort. That automaticity is a hallmark of maturity proof, that doing the work and proving it are the same motion. When evidence emerges from live systems, assurance follows naturally. Exception handling, approvals, and expirations reveal how an organization maintains honesty within its controls. Exceptions acknowledge when a requirement cannot be met, such as a system unable to support encryption or a patch temporarily deferred. Implemented controls track these exceptions in a formal register, including who approved them, what compensating safeguards apply, and when they expire. Expirations are essential. Without them, exceptions quietly become permanent policy changes. For example, a deferred update should show an expiration 30 days from approval and a follow-up ticket confirming closure or renewal. This transparency prevents surprises during assessments and builds trust with reviewers. Exception handling is not a weakness, but a maturity marker. It shows awareness of risk and discipline in resolution. When exceptions are visible, approved, and temporary, they strengthen credibility by proving governance is both flexible and accountable. Metrics link daily activity to measurable maturity, providing insight into control health. Implementation is not complete without feedback loops, showing how well processes perform. Metrics can track completion rates, mean time to close incidents, number of overdue patches, or percentage of systems meeting baseline configuration. HITRUST encourages metrics that drive improvement, not vanity reporting. For instance, tracking the average number of days between vulnerability discovery and remediation shows operational responsiveness. Regular review of these metrics turns data into dialogue, prompting course corrections before assessments. When metrics trend stable or improving over multiple cycles, it proves the control is not only running but also maturing. This measurable feedback transforms compliance from static proof to continuous assurance. In the long run, good metrics protect against complacency and demonstrate that implemented is an evolving state, always refined by observation. Internal checks and quality reviews preserve evidence accuracy before it reaches assessors. A mature organization assigns reviewers who verify clarity, date accuracy, and alignment with the correct control. These pre-assessment reviews catch issues like cropped screenshots, missing timestamps, or incomplete samples. Each evidence folder should include a simple checklist confirming the artifact's readiness. Quality reviews are scheduled rather than reactive, forming part of monthly or quarterly routines. This process ensures that submission day feels like routine reporting, not emergency triage. It also reduces the volume of assessor questions later. Internal verification mirrors the audit itself, reinforcing awareness of what good evidence looks like. When internal quality checks become habit, they not only save time, but also reinforce culture. Accuracy and transparency become everyday behaviors, not tasks for compliance season alone. Integration with change management ensures controls survive adaptation. Every modification to infrastructure, configuration, or process must consider how it affects existing safeguards. Implementation means this relationship is documented. Change tickets reference impacted controls, and control owners review adjustments before deployment. For example, adding a new cloud service triggers updates to inventory, logging rules, and access reviews. Linking change and control ensures that security remains consistent as technology evolves. HITRUST assessors often confirm this integration by sampling recent changes and checking whether associated controls were updated accordingly. Mature programs also capture post-implementation validation, verifying that the control continues to operate. Integration turns governance into part of everyday operations, closing the loop between innovation and assurance. It proves implementation is resilient, not brittle, even when the environment changes daily. Sustaining implementation between assessments is the real indicator of maturity. Controls must operate with the same rigor on ordinary days as they do when evidence is requested. The secret is rhythm, assigning recurring tasks, automating where possible, and embedding control checks into normal workflows. Leadership should receive periodic summaries that confirm controls are on time, exceptions are tracked, and metrics are trending stable. This ongoing visibility prevents regression and keeps renewal cycles smooth. HITRUST assessors often notice when evidence feels fresh, a sign it was collected during live operation rather than staged retroactively. Sustainability also depends on culture. When staff view control activity as part of their work identity, implementation becomes self-sustaining. Between assessments, that culture protects consistency, ensuring the next audit starts from strength, not reconstruction. Sustained implementation is assurance that never sleeps. Implemented equals lived practice, security woven into daily behavior rather than demonstrated once a year. It means people can describe what they do without notes, systems can show proof without delay, and evidence tells a coherent story from policy to performance. Every component, ownership, frequency, tooling, exceptions, and metrics works in harmony to maintain control discipline. The organization no longer prepares for compliance, it maintains compliance by doing its work well. In this state, HITRUST certification is less an event and more an external recognition of an ongoing reality. Implemented controls endure because they are rooted in purpose, reinforced by accountability, and refreshed by data. When your controls reach that point, the word implemented stops being a checklist item and becomes a description of how the organization lives and operates every single day.